Wonders, Unit 5, Week 3, going over the skills and reading the short story. Our genre this week is expository text. The selection story we're going to read is called Forest on Fire. It is an expository text. Expository texts give information about a topic. They develop the topic with facts, examples, and explanation, and they include graphs and photographs. So in forms, you're going to need to find specific examples to prove that this story is an expository text. You can see here that it does show us graphs and there are photographs. Those are two things that we know need to be in expository text, and it is on the topic of forest fires. Let's read Forest on Fires. Remember, our essential question for the week is, what changes in the environment affect living things? So we're going to read about the effects of forest fires on plants and animals and people. A few years ago, several red squirrels, an endangered species, had a temporary home at the Phoenix Zoo. Rescued from a ravaging wildfire that had already destroyed thousands of acres of land, the squirrels were waiting for the fire to be extinguished before being returned to the wild. Forest fires are part of nature, so it is important for us to understand not only how to fight fires, but also why they occur. Destructive and productive. Like rainstorms, wildfires are a force of nature. However, unlike rainstorms, wildfires are almost always destructive. They consume everything in their way, including plants, trees, and animals. Sometimes they take human lives and homes as well. Like a big storm, the destructive power of wildfires is terrifying. On the other hand, naturally occurring wildfires are also productive forces. Whether their flames race through a forest, a prairie, or acres of brush, these fires produce necessary changes in their environment. Like rain, they can allow new life to flourish. Benefits of natural occurring wildfires. A naturally occurring wildfire, sometimes called a forest fire, happens without any human cause. 3 factors must be present for one to burn. These include fuel, such as dry grasses, oxygen, which is in our atmosphere, and a heat source to ignite the fuel. A lightning strike usually sparks a naturally occurring wildfire. The danger of the fire is highest during a drought, when an area has experienced little rain. Wildfires have happened throughout history, and they help to regenerate Earth and its species. When vegetation decays, wildfires clear it away so that new plant life can grow. Fire also releases nutrients back into the soil, making it more fertile, and by eliminating leafy canopies of mature trees, fire allows nourishing sunlight to reach a forest floor. Often, this new plant life will be better adapted to fire than what existed before. Some species will have fire-resistant roots, leaves, or barks. Other species will actually depend on fires to reproduce and thrive. Stability and diversity. Among its benefits, fire promotes stability by eliminating invasive species that can take over an area. Fire encourages the healthy growth of a region's own vegetation. At the same time, fire promotes diversity. It ensures that plant life will exist at different stages of development. For example, a forest recently struck by fire will have new seedlings. Not far away, in a forest struck by fire 20 years earlier, there may be small trees, and nearby there may be a forest of mature trees untouched by fire for years. These variations in plant life provide food and habitats for different kinds of insects, birds, and mammals. Woodpeckers eat insects in burned-out trees. Sparrows depend on seeds for food. Predators such as foxes are drawn by small prey. Forests at different stages attract a diversity of animals to a region. The human factor. Although wildfires have benefits, they also are feared and misunderstood. As a result, our government tried to suppress them completely throughout the 20th century. This policy had a negative impact on the environment. The gradual buildup of decayed vegetation provided more fuel to feed fires. Consequently, wildfires became noticeably fiercer. More recently, the government has used two different strategies to manage wildfires. One is to try to limit fires before they burn out of control. The other is to set small, prescribed fires to reduce the amount of fuel in the environment. Hopefully, the danger of catastrophic fires is now receding. Unfortunately, human carelessness such as campfire left to smolder can also start a fire. While a natural or prescribed wildfire can be beneficial, this is not true of fires that result from malice or mistakes. These happen at times and places that may cause irreparable damage to plant, animal, and human life. Fires cannot control themselves, so humans will always have to figure out how best to handle them. You can see here in this graph, it says the June U.S. wildfire activity from 2007 to 2011. The red is the number of fires, and the green are the acres that were burned. So even as the fires went down, because we suppressed them or stopped them from happening, the amount of acres went up. You can see over here the photographs. You see the open cone and a new seedling and a young forest. So the different stages that can happen because of a fire. If you want to take a closer look at those photographs or reread the story, please head on over to ConnectEd and find that story in your read section. Our comprehension skill this week is compare and contrast. We've been doing comparing and contrasting. So here they compared rainstorms and wildfires. So they are both forces of nature. Rainstorms mainly help plant, animal, and human life. They can be destructive, but not usually. Wildfires are mostly destroy plants, animals, and higher life. They can be helpful, but we know they destroy everything. Our vocabulary strategy is context clues. We figure out the meaning of unfamiliar words or multiple meaning words by looking at clues in the paragraph. We can find synonyms, words that are the same, antonyms, words that are different, or a comparison, a compare and contrast that can help you figure out what the word means. So you see that we have some different words here, like seedlings. If you take a look, it says, for example, a forest recently struck by fire will have new seedlings not far away. In a forest struck by wildfire 20 years earlier, there may be small trees, and nearby there may be forest of mature trees untouched by fires. So we can see that seedlings must mean a small or beginning tree. There's some other words that we're going to go back in during your forms quiz and see if you can figure out what they mean. Productive, regenerate, and diversity. And I'll take some screenshots of those so that you have them on there. So go ahead, you can either reread this story or head on over to Teams and take your quiz.